Global warming.
To see the Rocky Mountains that we're headed toward, and we'll be crossing in the next couple of hours. So we're on our way there. On Lewis and Clark's return trip from the Pacific Ocean in 1806, Captain Meriwether Lewis, with 2 soldiers and a hunter, explored the Marias River and its tributaries, including Cutbank Creek, which we just crossed. Their objectives were to determine the most northerly location of Missouri River system and to make contact with the Blackfeet Nation. Both of these objectives would have great ramifications. The Louisiana Purchase documents had specified the northernmost part of the Missouri River system would determine the boundary between the United States and the British held territory of what is now Canada. In July of 1806, the party made a camp on the most northerly point of the river system. Food was scarce, and the weather conditions were unseasonably cold and wet for July. Lewis attempted to make the celestial fixes for several days with limited success because of cloud cover. Cold, hungry, and tired, they left the camp, naming it Camp Disappointment. Not only did they have a poor celestial fix, the Missouri River system did not extend as far north as they had hoped. It is a result of spectacular geological events over the past 70 million years. In the late 1800s, geologists first recognized the existence of large overthrust faults in this area. The Glacier National Park area holds great spiritual importance to the Blackfeet, Salish, and Kootenai Native American tribes. As farm machinery has become bigger and more efficient, fewer hands are needed to raise crops. As roads have improved, there have been a consolidation of granaries in the larger towns, leaving many of the small town grain railheads out of business. Over the years, the trend has been for farmers and their families to move from the farm into the towns. As a result of these and other changes, there's been a dwindling population in the High Line, and many of the smaller towns have nearly disappeared. U.S. Highway 2. This is the main east-west highway that crosses Montana and North Dakota. You've been following that as you've been traveling on the Empire Builder. We will follow that all the way until we arrive at Whitefish. We'll leave it and then rejoin it again tomorrow morning when we arrive in Wenatchee and follow it all the way into Everett, Washington. I have a question for you to ponder. Which do you think came first, the highway or the rail line?
Rail line.
Built first, and they encouraged people to move out here and to settle. Many of them were given free acreage to become homesteaders as long as they improved the land. It was only later, when automobiles were invented, that the highways came into being. And this particular highway follows much of the same route as the rail line. Closer to them. Interesting question might be, where do you think we're going to go through those mountains? Do you have an idea where the train is going to go to pass through those mountains? You know we're going to go through there. This is the principal town of the Blackfeet Nation. For most of the year, Amtrak has a stop here at Browning, but during the summer, when East Glacier Park is open, this stop is not made, but rather it's made at East Glacier. So, a lot of wind, and we're going to be passing by a new high-tech wind fence that'll be on our left side as we turn. This was built to protect trains from very high winds. This area is known for its 60 to 100 mile per hour winds. and the recently installed fence was designed to prevent damage to locomotives and rail cars. Other fences that you might see adjacent to the tracks are usually snow fences. They are typically placed upwind of the railroad tracks to reduce wind speed and deposit snow on the fence's leeward side, thus minimizing. Marias River was named for Maria Wood, cousin of Captain Meriwether Lewis of the Lewis and Clark expedition, who was an early explorer to this general area. It is believed Marias Pass most recently acquired its name from the nearby Marias River. 2 Medicine River. This is the highest trestle the Empire Builder will span from Chicago to Seattle. It marks Marias's Pass eastern boundary, and we should get a good view of the river on either side of the train, and you should be able to get some good pictures. Both sides, here we are, 2 Medicine River. We're approaching the East Glacier Station, which is a summer season. Before we get to the station stop, we might have an opportunity to see some of the jammers, the long red and black tour buses that are used by Glacier National Park to take people in through the park. These were built back in the 30s, and they were redone in the early 2000s and put in a propane tanks and are being used to take people through Glacier National Park. We'll look off to the right here. We may see some of these jammers that are parked in here. Just tops to them. A little hard to see with the sun there. There may be some parked at the station as we come to a stop here. This is East Glacier.